Dear viewers, please allow me to welcome you to the premises of Business Accelerator and co-working space of the National Business Center of Slovak Business Agency here in Bratislava, Slovakia. Slovak Business Agency is one of the partners in the ROB-SME project, which is an Erasmus Plus funded project that aims to help SMEs to assess the value of robotics and artificial intelligence to their business. Today, I have the pleasure to discuss the topic of artificial intelligence or AI and the value it may bring to small and medium-sized enterprises with Professor Mária Bieliková, founder of the SlovakAI, founder of the kinit, and also president of the Permanent Slovak Ethics Commission for AI. Professor, thanks for accepting our invitation. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hello, I'm very happy that you invited me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. So, first of all, let's start. Please, could you tell us what is artificial intelligence? What is AI? It's a buzzword these days. Could you explain a little bit? What is it?
Actually, there are many definitions of artificial intelligence, and not only many definitions, but also many interpretations of them. AI often points to systems that display intelligent behavior to achieve specific goals. But another very broad description of AI is that artificial intelligence is an intelligence demonstrated by inanimate systems. So really, there are different kinds of definitions, and often such a simple definition is fine. For example, once we want to introduce AI into companies, at the beginning, we do need mostly to describe basic characteristic of an AI systems and as human perceive it. So we don't need it to have it more detailed. But for example, if we want to use such a definition of AI for regulations, it wouldn't be enough, because for such a case, we shouldn't know where the regulation begins and ends. And so definition of what is intelligent, what is intelligence, actually, it's always really hard. I bet that you will not be able to do it as a human. Maybe you know the Turing test, which was used for defining whether machines can think, by Alan Turing 70 years ago. And this behavioral test deals with the questions of whether a human judge can distinguish in a dialogue a man from a machine. And this is a very simple game, but this game contributed to the development of AI, especially in natural language processing, and it's just really one view of what thinking machine is, and this evolved to artificial intelligence. So often we use a descriptive method. That means that we list properties that AI system should show, and they are not always the same. They describe how the system reason, what is the result. And my opinion is that the best way to name a distinguishing property from other systems, at least at this moment now, is to highlight learning as a feature. So machine learning, or learning how machines can learn. So the intelligent system not only works in defined conditions, but it also shows often acceptable and reasonable outputs in situations that were not known during its development.
Thank you. Maybe we will be able to understand AI even better through examples. Could you give some examples of the use of AI systems which are used in business environment, mostly for our project?
Yes, it's a really good way how to approach it, similarly as describing AI as such. Before, maybe I should know that AI systems, or better AI-based systems, because these systems not consist just from AI. AI is discipline, and we are speaking about methods and tools and models to be based on the principles of AI, and they can be either purely software based, so they act in the virtual world, such as voice assistant, search engine, speech recognition and understanding, image processing, anomaly detection. Or AI systems can be embedded into hardware devices, for example, autonomous cars, drones, robots, sensors embedded in everyday objects. So many times people think that just robots are AI or something which is physical and have 3D, but I think that at this moment, probably the virtual AI systems prevail, and there is more of them. And another dimension is that uh, such systems can be successfully used in many areas: production optimization, quality management, predictive maintenance, intelligent automation, energy management, marketing and sales, online sales, and each in each of these domains you can imagine application. Anything you do, almost anything can be improved by AI, and some new stuff which we even don't know always every day is coming. You see there is a lot of startups today, so it's really spread across all sectors. So you can find application in communication, security, entertainment, transportation, health, logistics, and I mentioned robots. So many robots use AI for sensing or acting in situations which were not known in advance. So we had robots before as well, but usually they worked in some prescribed way, and AI gives them a possibility to do things that we even didn't know in time of design.
This is very interesting. We will speak about the use cases a little bit later on. Now, do you think when mentioning startups and use for companies, is AI reserved only for big companies, or is it also for small and medium-sized enterprises, in your opinion?
I don't think that AI is reserved only for big companies. Actually, it has several views, so it should be used in small enterprises, but in fact AI is expensive. It's very expensive. Not just AI as such, research is expensive as well, and AI is very strongly connected with research. At this moment, there are a lot of AI researchers who research different aspects of machine learning, for example. But such researchers are not just in academia as we used to perceive it before, but they are in companies as well. And I can tell that at this moment, industry and praxis really is ahead of theory. So we have a lot of applications, but it's really expensive. It's similarly expensive as you can imagine that if you invest to startup and to new innovative idea, usually 1 from 10 or 1 from 20 is really pays off. So if you don't have enough resources, you simply couldn't afford it, or you will afford, but maybe you will fail, and maybe you will succeed, and this can be quite disappointing. So and we should distinguish between developing AI, what I was speaking about, and deploying AI. And I believe that deploying is much more accessible for small companies as well. because training models often requires large data sets and computing power, and this is usually not available. But many companies just implement and deploy existing solutions, and I would encourage everyone to do this as well, because innovations then can come along with this. So I think this is very important and useful. But to be useful, it often is not enough just to take a solution from a vendor. It should be adapted to a particular context, situation. So I would recommend to have using AI not just for marketing, but really for real business, and to try to include it into the business. Maybe I can add that a year ago we in SlovakAI provided a survey with more than 240 Slovak companies who participated in this. And in this survey, about 1/3 of companies stated that they use or develop AI-based solutions. And from these companies, 85% were small and medium enterprises. So it's good news that in Slovakia there are companies that innovate using AI, and I see really big potential here.
That's a good number and a good development, and quite a high number. So what do you think that are the main advantages for SMEs when they actually deploy AI? What are the main advantages? How can they profit from the AI introduction?
I think that just in generally, it's always an advantage if you have an innovative solution, and usually AI brings innovative solutions, brings new possibilities even to ordinary situations and activities which we have used for many years. For example, I found one small company, a startup, which develops a software for the automated heart ultrasound imaging. And what is amazing that it allows to reduce the average examination time significantly. So it's really ordinary action. It's being done for many years by cardiologists, but now they were able to reduce time by 85%. That means that what before was 30 minutes now is 5 minutes. And then they even claim that they increased overall accuracy. So it's really a huge advantage and increases revenue. So I think that this is benefit number one, that it can increase the revenue. But this is just one case. I mentioned that you are doing something and you can do this better. One can bring new scenarios. So, for example, we have in Slovakia company called Matuško. Maybe you already Matsuko. Yes, I'm always confusing with this name. And they create holographic communication in video conferences. So it's something new, something what wasn't there before. Another example is automatic rating guides for user in various scenarios, which is done by another Slovak company, Brainware. It wasn't here before, and AI can help us with different situations.
Thank you. We will speak about the use cases maybe a little later on. I would catch you in here.